areas besides. And our relationship is undoubtedly special. On security, on defence, on trade, on investment, on all of these issues, the United Kingdom and the United States are and will remain the closest of partners. Now, the United States is the world's greatest power, and in the light of America's absolutely pivotal role, we believe it's entirely right that we should use all the tools at our disposal to build common ground with President Trump. Now, as the baton of office passed seamlessly, constitutionally, from one president to another, we were already well placed to have a productive and meaningful engagement with the new administration. The British Embassy in Washington has been working with key administration figures for many months. British Secretaries of State have built relationships with their opposite numbers following their congressional confirmation process. And the Prime Minister's visit last month was of enormous significance. Indeed, also the Foreign and Defence Secretaries have met their opposite numbers, indeed only last week, and on Friday I met Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly. And this engagement places our national interest at the heart of our government's decision-making, and the special relationship is a central part of that national interest. It's a relationship which transcends political parties on both sides of the Atlantic, and it is bigger than individual personalities. It's about the security and the prosperity of our two nations. Mr. Turner, the Prime Minister's meeting with President Trump in Washington last month identified many areas of common interest where we'll work with the new administration, and a state visit will provide the opportunity to advance these common interests further. In respect of timing, which has been mentioned in this debate, state visits are not necessarily the sole preserve of long-serving heads of state. In the past, a state visit has been extended to the presidents of South Africa, France, South Korea, Finland and Poland, amongst others, each within their first year of office. And the government, I'll just give way this once, otherwise I won't be able to answer all the points.
I thank the Minister for giving way, but would he not agree with this point at least, that to extend a state visit in this way and at this time could be seen, and has been seen by many of my constituents, as effectively a validation of the views and the statements of President Trump, and in that way they feel very, very concerned about the message that it sends?
I understand exactly what the Honourable Lady has said, and accept that that is the strong and perfectly powerful counter-argument to the case that I am making. But I do not accept that the process of a state visit will indeed be seen as such validation. And I'd like just to explain a bit further what I think the value of this state visit will entail. Because, Mr. Turner, the government strongly believes that it's a perfectly legitimate decision to use the full impact of an invitation to maximise the diplomatic significance of a state visit at the start of President Trump's term of office. Both President Obama and President George W. Bush visited the UK on a state visit during their first term in office, so it's entirely appropriate that President Trump should be invited in his first term too. But let me also be clear, because this has also been raised today, neither the precise timing nor the content of the proposed visit have yet been agreed. Now, mention has been made of the prospect of the President addressing Parliament in some manner or other. The fact is, on only 3 occasions in the past century has the guest addressed both Houses of Parliament as part of their state visit. President de Gaulle in 1960, President Mandela in 1996, and President Obama in 2011. But in any event, Mr. Turner, as the House and you are both aware, whether this ever happens is an issue solely for the relevant parliamentary authorities to determine.
There's tens of thousands of people demonstrating outside. I'm having difficulty hearing the Minister.
No, you're not.
But did the Minister just tell us?
No, that's
he'd been asked.
No,
he'd been asked if he was
that's
advised a visit within.
It is not an.
It's not for the Minister.
That is not an order. That is not a. That is not eligible. Sit down. Sit down.
Not so
Go.
civilized.
Alan, well.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. So I would continue in talking about the prospect of anyone talking to both Houses of Parliament to say that comment on whether or not this might happen has on this occasion run completely ahead of itself, because the simple fact is that no request has ever been received from Washington for any parliamentary event to take place, and the question of perhaps addressing a meeting of Parliament has never even been mentioned. Therefore, Mr. Turner, any discussion or judgment about this possibility is purely speculative. But within the views that have been expressed about the appropriateness of a state visit for the President, there lurks too, I would argue, a fundamental principle that members of this House should consider very seriously, and it is the principle of freedom of speech. President Trump was democratically elected by the American people under their own constitutional system. To have strong views about him is one matter, but to translate a difference of opinion into a demand to ban him is quite another. And given the understandable questions on certain policy stances which arise with any change of government, it's prudent for us to work closely alongside the United States as the new administration charts its course. And already we see the importance of that engagement, with the Prime Minister's early meeting with the President eliciting key commitments on NATO, echoed by the Vice President in Munich on Saturday, and laying the groundwork to establish a swift post-Brexit free trade agreement. And Mr. Turner, further constructive engagement will be helped by a state visit. Mr. Turner, in February 1917, a century ago, The Spectator magazine published its view on the United States and the UK. It read, "It would be easy to write down 100 reasons why unclouded friendship and moral cooperation between the United States and Britain are a benefit to the world, and why an interruption of such relations is a detriment to progress and a disease worldwide in its effects." I'm in the middle of a quote. It went on. But when we'd written down all those reasons, we should not have expressed the instinctive sentiments which go below and beyond them all. To our way of feeling, quarrelling and misunderstandings between the British and American peoples are like a thing contrary to nature. They're so contrary to nature, it went on, that the times of misunderstanding have always seemed to us abnormal, and a return to friendship not an achievement of wise diplomacy, but merely a resumption of the normal. It is that historic normality that is reflected in this invitation. This is a special moment for the special relationship. Mr. Turner, the visit should happen, the visit will happen, and when it does, I trust the United Kingdom will extend a polite and generous welcome to President Donald Trump.
Paul Flynn.
An extraordinary event, and the petitions committee and the system petitions here has come of age in this debate. How can we have such a situation where the Minister has given this carefully manicured press a civil service briefing, when outside we have a Greek chorus of disapproval in his case, but we are expressing the voice of the people, and a thunderous voice it's been. Just one point I'd like to make is that I believe the debate went off the rails at some point when a number of members suggested that petitioners were asking for a ban on President Trump. Not one of them are. Not one of the 2 million people are asking for a ban. They're in the large petition, they're asking for it to be downgraded from a state visit here. And that's the whole point, that by giving this rare accolade of a state visit to President Trump, the implication is that we approve of him and his policies. It's fine to have the president here, it's fine to have a visit on business, there's no objection to that. But this committee today has proved by this marvellous debate that we've had, that we are reacting to the voice of the people, to the anger and fear that's outside, and it's a good day for Parliament.
The question is that this House has considered e-petition 171828 and 178844 relating to a state visit by President Donald Trump. As many as are of that opinion say aye. To the contrary, no. No! I think the noes have it, the noes have it. Order, order.